Hey geeks, welcome to Geek Speak TV Live on YouTube. I'm your host, Patrick Estrada. Joining me as always my hosts, Abigail and Kyle from GeekSpeak.tv, our writers. Oh, I'm excited, super excited. It's Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
Happy Free Comic Book Day, everybody.
Woo.
And
Free.
It's free and it's such a slow week in Geek this week that we're just kind of, we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of what happened this week. Obviously, if you cannot tell from my attire, it is Captain America Civil War came out this week, so we're going to talk a little about that. But first, after our show's over, if you still need something to do, go down to Frankenstein's Collectible Show over here at City of Industry. Today is ToonCon, right? Level 7 Media, our buddy Steven Sievers is out there with Daniel the Turtle and Super Pirate Booty Hunt. Go by, say hello, tell him we sent you. He'll give you a big hug and maybe some free comics as well. And I'm going to take out these glasses. I can't see what I'm doing. Don't drive with those, really. I'm putting on my geek glasses here. So, okay. Now I'm recognizable. It's like Clark Kent and Superman. It's like, hey, he's back. So yeah, that's going on. Also, it was Star Wars Day this week, which was May the 4th be with you. Hope you all had a good time.
How dare you?
I love doing that to people. Like, did he just throw the Vulcan? I did. I throw Vulcan all the time. Those of you that went to Das Bunker last night, I hope you had a great time and got home safely and partied responsibly. If you guys don't know, every year, Das Bunker, which is an industrial club here in Hollywood Alley, actually, they throw a Star Wars theme night. And they've been doing it for years before the resurgence of Star Wars ever happened. So it's a fun time. And a lot of our friends were out there, so I know that you guys have fun. But can we please talk about
Civil War.
Civil War.
I think we should throw out that.
Okay, first, if you don't want to hear about spoilers or potential spoilers, we're not going to try to ruin the movie for you, but we're super excited, and it may slip out, so if you want to just tune out and go somewhere else, do it now. We won't hate on you, but we will stop you later. Just kidding. Civil War. We got to see it at Al Cap. Where did you see it?
I saw it at the Crocodian Theater in Buena Park with Fat Collectibles. They do screenings for pretty much any comic book movie.
We love Fat Collectibles, so hi guys.
Hey.
And yeah, we went to El Capitan, which is always an experience. Kyle, you're awesome. Thank you for that. We got there. We thought we were seeing the 7 o'clock showing, but we got there. It was actually the 10:30 showing. So yeah, our little mistake, but it was cool because we got to get in line, hanging out with cool people, and
it's half the fun.
It's half the fun. And then downstairs at El Capitan, they have like a little museum, a little mini museum, right?
Yeah, put up costumes.
75 years of Captain America.
Dude, some of that artwork, I was like, this is beautiful stuff. Like, and I wanted to, I'll put that up on the walls. It's so gorgeous. Like, and me, like Captain America, like I was telling Kyle, is the first comic book I ever read, ever. Like my uncle got me a comic book box of like gift set or whatever, and it came with a Captain America novel that had like the first 10 issues in this novel. So the first one I ever was Captain America #1, and I was like, I fell in love with Cap. So ever since I was a little boy, I've been a big Captain America fan. And to go and see like the original Shield, and they have his 4F card, from drafting from the movie and all that stuff. It's a cool little museum and exhibit to check out. So if you get a chance, go to El Capitan and check that out. It's totally worth it. And what else? Let's talk about some of the free stuff, or not free stuff, that we get from El Capitan. Like this cool little like tin thing. You put popcorn in there. It comes with popcorn in it. And then they have like these cool sipper cups that have like these tops. They had a Black Panther, Iron Man, and Cap.
Yeah.
And then they have this cool Captain America Road to War #1, which is an exclusive variant. It's very cool.
And you can get there at El Capitan. And what's next door? Ghirardelli's.
The Ghirardelli chocolate shop.
Kyle had something to say about Ghirardelli, didn't you?
Oh, they were really nice. Had tea and picked up a couple of those variants there. But they were really nice. Loved it. If you're a fan of the movie, El Capitan's the place to be.
Definitely. And Ghirardelli's, like I say, they have ice cream themed ice cream sundaes and like usually treats that go along with whatever movie that they're showing. and you can pick up some exclusive stuff there. So it's pretty cool. Check it out if you're in Hollywood and get a chance to go do it. The movie.
Oh my gosh, it was so good.
Oh my god, yeah. I was like screaming and yelling and shouting at the screen and laughing, and I think the guy behind me was getting pissed about how much I was like raucously laughing at the movie because I thought it was hilarious.
It was hilarious.
Right? I mean...
In fact, that's kind of the important point that I'd like to bring up, is that I brought a friend along to the movie, my date, and he hadn't even seen Winter Soldier, so he was a little bit lost, but he was still able to enjoy the movie because it was funny and it was silly, and he was able to laugh and eventually catch on as little hints were dropped and whatnot.
So he was completely new to the Marvel Universe altogether, or not? He didn't
He'd
see the
seen a few movies, but he's not like a hardcore nerd, and I need to work on that.
Well, hey, it's what we do. Because like I was contemplating taking a girl that I'm dating right now who hasn't seen any Marvel movies, but she has little brothers that have seen them. And I'm pretty sure she's got some knowledge of general Marvelness. But I was watching this movie, and I was like, this is a pretty good standalone movie. I mean, it's got a lot of characters introduced to it because I mean, it's like just everybody's in this. I mean, you got Ant-Man, you got Black Panther.
Introducing Spidey.
Introducing Spidey into this universe. I mean, you've got all these characters, but they introduce everybody. It's not like this guy walks in, he's like, who's this guy?
Yeah, you
it's
get
like,
a general idea of who the heck it is.
Except for Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was like, yeah.
He was the only one that kind of just like threw in the mix, like this is.
Because I think it's because the movie was so recent that everyone sort of assumed.
Okay, but Ant-Man again is a great standalone Marvel movie. You know, it's funny. It's
I'm really looking forward to Ant-Man and Wasp.
Yeah, that's gonna be sweet. But so maybe we'll take her to go see this movie and see how she feels. Maybe she'll go backward and want to see all the rest of them again. Because if you haven't, and I kind of want to talk about this, if you haven't been catching up, I mean, it's close to 12 different movies now in order to be caught up to today.
Let's
Well,
see,
depending on
because
what
there's
phase
Iron Man
we're
1, 2, and 3, Thor 1, 2,
2,
and 3. There is
There's only 2 right now.
Thor. There's two Thors. There's 3 Iron Man. There's what else is there? There's 2 Avengers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Age of Ultron.
And then there's Guardians of the Galaxy.
There's Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man. And so there we go. So I have 9 movies to get caught up to 10, which is Civil War. That's a lot of movie watching. And at El Capitan, they do the marathons.
Oh yeah, there's Hulk. That's 10.
And Hulk. Oh,
Which
one?
Which one do we have? There's only one that's in the Marvel Cinematic
Yeah,
Universe.
Incredible Hulk.
Which was the one with Bonnet? Or the one with...
That's... Crap, I can't remember.
No.
I can't remember his name.
You get me?
Ed Norton.
Yes.
Ed Norton is the canon one?
Yeah, he's
You're
canon.
kidding me.
Yeah. He's in canon.
What? Both those Hulk movies sucked anyway, but still.
I think it would have been a lot better with Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah. They should do another one with just Mark Ruffalo. Why? It's probably a curse or something.
Yeah, no, they're like, okay, let's not touch
the
it.
rights are tied up by Universal. So
yeah.
They can't make a solo Hulk movie unless Universal makes it. So they don't want to make it.
That's dumb.
So
Okay.
they can have Hulk in other things like
No.
Avengers, but they can't, or Thor, but they can't have him
Standalone?
not as a solo.
So,
From what I've heard. So
Legality. But
but we
legality.
got a lot of extra characters that we could do. So.
Okay, so we got the Black Panther, who's this. I mean, I think he's the star of this one, the new star of this movie, right? In Civil War.
Spider-Man just
Spider-Man
takes over.
Spider-Man blew it out of the park.
You
Yes.
guys think so?
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
I love Black
I
Panther.
love Black Panther too.
Black Panther was close, but Spidey did just.
Spidey
blew it
did
out.
steal the show as far as comic relief and just being all around just a good character. But yeah, you're right. He did steal the show, but I think that Black Panther was the main focus of this movie, outside of the Civil War
Outside
going
of
on.
Cap.
Yeah, outside
But
of
yeah,
Cap and
I
Civil War
did
going on.
enjoy. There's this bit at the end that there's this really good bit of character development towards the end where he confronts the villain or whatever. If you know what I'm talking.
Oh yeah,
about.
yeah.
At the end of the film, you'll know it once you see it, and it's just. I think it's great, and I think it's a very good highlight of Black Panther's character, both in the comics and what we're leading up to his movie in the MCU. I think it's a good tone to set.
I think that they did a great job with this movie, in, as far as like not spoon feeding either. It was very dark, at times, and like the very serious, when it needed to be, and then other times when the comic relief was perfectly timed. I mean, as far as Marvel movies, I mean, it was almost perfect. I was
Yeah.
watching, I was like, this is a perfect movie. There's not one moment in time where I was like, that was predictable, or I knew this was coming. Even things that I knew were going to happen, when it happened, I was like, wow, that's right. I completely forgot that was going to happen. You know, and we talked about one of the things that happens in the movie in the end, and I was like, I completely missed that, and I had forgotten about it. And even though it was talked about in a previous movie as well, completely blew my mind until I actually saw it again. I'm like, oh, okay, now. Oh, wow.
I think it's what was surprising is that it actually came to light and that there was consequences.
Yeah, there's consequences to, you know, and the other thing that I really enjoyed was Robert Downey Jr.'s just like internal struggle that he was having. Like you could tell he was doing it for the right reasons, and we've all been there. It's like, you know, trying to make that good call, even though like every other option looks like crap, and you're doing it for the right reasons. No one understands why you're doing it, and you know, but then, you know, he ended up being slightly wrong.
Yeah,
It
no.
is.
The thing is, he started out doing things for the right reason, and then later on, towards the end of the movie, he sort of leaned towards self-interest. It was fair. The reason why he was pissed was very good, but that doesn't mean it was in any less sort of self-interest.
It's so hard not to spoil that part. But, yeah, you're right. So, I mean, I'm going to have to watch it at least 3 or 4 more times.
I've already seen it twice.
You've seen it twice. I mean, I know Kyle's going to have to watch it 3 or 4 more times. It's one of those movies where, again, I think the more you're going to watch it, the more you're going to fall in love with it. I mean, the Scarlet Witch.
She was amazing. She really grew into her own character in this movie. She was great. Props to Elizabeth Olsen.
Vision, also.
Vision was great.
Great character.
I love how they close they were in this movie. They were adorable.
Let me see, who else was, oh, yeah.
Hawkeye was great.
Hawkeye was great. The Falcon, Kyle's favorite, Falcon.
Falcon and
Sticky
Bucky,
bun.
the chemistry was gorgeous.
Oh my god, they did such a good job with that. And you'll see the bro scene. When you see it, you'll laugh, you'll love it.
And then that bit with Spidey when they were confronting him, that was hilarious.
And there's this whole, you know, what I loved about the Falcon was, because he's a soldier. Like,
Yeah.
But his fighting style with his wings and his
Oh,
gadgets.
I love how they integrate him.
Yeah, it was really well done. I'm talking like martial arts style choreography.
Marvel
you know,
has never had a problem with making good choreography.
Yeah, but with the Falcon, it's taking a human with these wings and having him fight like a bird, basically, and it's amazing to see how well it's done. It's
Did
like,
you
that's
notice-
totally believable. Like,
did
I
you-
could believe that.
Did you notice what he named his drone?
Yeah.
Redwing.
Yeah, it's a reference to his Falcon in the comics, for those of you who don't know.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of I'm sure tons of Easter eggs that, you know, went unnoticed during the
How
first
many Easter
watching.
egg YouTube videos are there going to be?
Yeah, that's going to be the next trend, right?
D23.
And let me see, what else did we have? Oh, I wanted to show this comic on Comic Book Day because this is one of my
Free Comic
this
Day?
yeah, this is one of my favorites. Well, it's a good segue because it's Captain America and Black Panther in this comic, and I got this for free, but not for Free Comic Book Day. My cousin gave it to me back in like 1985, like dating me a little bit. But that's how old this is. Published 1977, and it's the Black Panther versus Captain America. It's actually a pretty cool story. They're fighting some sort of like orbiting satellite that's using the sun as it's kind of like the premise for with The Force Awakens, which we'll talk about later. It's a satellite that's gathering the solar energy and like blasting parts of the continent. You know, and so Black Panther and Captain America can go to space and fight. So yeah, that's kind of cool. And yeah, so we were talking about we're gonna do more free comics.
Yeah, okay.
Let's talk about free comics.
Free comics?
Yeah.
Where'd you go?
Let's see. I went to Comic Book Hideouts, picked up my free comic, and let's see. They had just a few.
Really?
Yeah, they were running really short because free comics is becoming popular nowadays.
Well, speaking about it, I mean, this is a 15-year anniversary,
this
right?
is the 15th anniversary.
We did a little research on our show to find out what Free Comic Book Day is all about, and it is a gathering of just publishers and retailers of independent comic book stores. So don't think you can walk into a Save-On or to a Walmart and expect to get free comics today. That's not how it works. You have to go to independent comic book stores, and they have they're usually marked with Free Comic Book Day on top of them, and they're giving them out for free to kind of just help spread the love of comics, because it is an American art form that was developed in the early 20th century for just strictly entertainment, and it's taken off, and it helps encourage reading and literacy, which is what we have a big problem with in this country, because unfortunately we don't read enough. And so free comics is a great idea to help get kids back into reading.
And also, it works great for the companies because it's not while the comics are free, it's great for promotional. Usually they'll do number zeros for new series or for smaller publishers just to get recognized. It's great.
Reprinting popular issues, key issues.
So yeah, it is free. Go down to your local comic book shop, walk in. They probably have a big stack there. You can get anywhere from 1 to how many?
I got 12, and I went to Fat Collectibles in La Habra and The Realm in Brea, and I got so many comics.
I have not left the house yet, so I haven't got any free comics. But I did want to talk a little bit about, because it's Free Comic Book Day, and these were not free, but they are kind of talking about our next part, which is Star Wars. Star Wars comics. Star Wars has released a whole bunch of, one-offs and ongoing running series. Like Poe Dameron is a running series.
Also, they reprinted key issues for the True Believers line. So I think these are $1, or were $1 for Star Wars Day.
There you go. So, Star Wars Day was May the 4th. And those who don't know, May the 4th has been kind of given to us as our official Star Wars holiday. I mean, retailers are doing discounts on Star Wars stuff.
I noticed for We Love Fine and Her Universe, they were doing sales.
Oh, yeah. GameStop was doing sales as far as Star Wars video games and toys go, so it's really catching on. I want to go on an editorial here. One thing I want to say about May the 4th be with you. Let's be grateful that we have that day. We've been giving an actual Star Wars holiday. Let's not beat a dead horse. Let's not kill it with the May the 5th and May the 6th be with you and all that. Let's just take our one day and be happy with the one day we've been given. Unfortunately, I've heard a few people moan and groan about, they're doing May the 6th be with you now, or whatever the 6th, whatever the 6th day is.
Yeah, I heard that.
Don't kill it. It's just, we got one day. It's right next to Cinco de Mayo as well. I mean, we took a gamble with that one and we won. So let's be grateful about the fact that we got May the 4th, and let's celebrate that day responsibly, and let's not nerd it out and make it unfun for everybody by going too far with the joke. That's all I wanted to say, because I was like, tired of seeing May the 6th.
I picked up for Free Comics, the Star Wars Day, was this limited edition Star Wars Day Disney Store exclusive. It's a Boba Fett prototype.
Let me see that.
And also, I picked up The Bloodline by Claudia Gray. This book talks about Leia Organa's formation of the Resistance. So, I'm about 100 pages in, so it's great stuff.
Speaking of the Resistance, there's certain movies coming out later this year.
Yeah.
Rogue One, which is very exciting. I've seen the trailer, and you've probably seen the trailer. It looks so good.
If you haven't seen the trailer to Rogue One, this is so awesome. This is like die-cast. It's so heavy. Die-cast metal. It's got a gun, too. Anyway, Rogue One, I'm loving the whole... well, first of all, for those who don't know why all these movies are coming out, let's go back a little bit further. George Lucas, who is the creator of Star Wars, who created Lucasfilm, sold, some people don't even know this, believe it or not, sold the rights to Star Wars to Disney in what was called the Holocron for $5 billion.
Best deal Disney ever made.
That's a big, yeah. And according to the geeks, this Holocron contained over 100,000 years worth of Star Wars timeline to it. Like outlines from the Expanded Universe video games,
There's a
Dark Horse
lot
comics,
of universe.
like all this stuff, and Disney gets to pick and choose whatever they like from this. And Rogue One is the first movie that they're doing that is not a Skywalker film. It's not about the Skywalker family. It's completely detached from them. I don't know if they're going to be in it or not.
John Knoll, the visual effects guy for ILM,
and creator of Adobe Photoshop.
Brilliant guy. Came up with the story, and that's really where he pitched to Kathleen Kennedy, and that's where it really started rolling, and before Episode 7 came about. So, yeah, that's in the genesis for quite some time.
And oh my gosh, I cannot tell you how excited I am for another female lead.
Yeah, it's
so cool.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, Rogue One's a story of the squad that goes in and steals the original Death Star plans that resurface in A New Hope. The plans that Leia puts into R2-D2. It's the crew that goes to steal that. So the great thing I love about this is that it's going to show the general public that there is a bigger universe out there that does not need to involve the Skywalkers or a Vader or anybody of the main characters that we've gotten to know.
That's going to stop like half the criticism of the movies.
It's going to, not only that, but it's going to open up the door for potential writers and potential future storylines of like, you know what, there's a family of another Jedi or another Sith storyline, or 2,000 years before the movies even happened. We can go. I mean, that's the beauty of what the Star Wars universe is that there's so much out there, and a lot of it is canon because we were having a discussion about what's canon and what's not. That I mean, I can see our children's children seeing brand new Star Wars movies. You know, and it's just another universe that that you get to play in.
And it's very much generational because I remember watching it with my parents and going with my parents to see the 7th movie, and all the kids now, me all the way down to 5th grade, is because their parents is something. It's very much a family thing now.
Yeah, I would definitely say that, and Disney has done a great job as far as incorporating the youth because first it was Clone Wars cartoon.
Yeah. The Clone Wars was so good.
And don't let the fact that it's an animated cartoon fool you, and the fact that it's for children. It's got a very
they had some very dark, and I think one of my favorite things about it was the battles actually made sense, and the tactics, and then also politics. The episodes that were mostly about Amidala and were on Coruscant and whatnot, they weren't boring. They were interesting, and they made sense. And 12-year-old me was very easily able to follow along and be interested.
Yeah, and I guess it's like a Star Wars Game of Thrones almost. I mean, it's not like what you're thinking as far as a kid's cartoon goes. I mean, because there's death. They deal with death. They deal with love. They deal with
It's very much stuck with the Star Wars theme of a space opera.
Yeah, definitely. And you're watching Rebels.
Rebels, yeah. Star Wars Rebels is...
It's a lot smaller than Clone Wars.
Yeah, it is smaller in scope, but it really localizes the formation of the rebellion. We just get the very beginning of it through Ezra Bridger and his crew of the Ghost.
So who's Ezra Bridger exactly? He's the last Padawan?
No. He's a young, starting out as a thief, slowly becoming a Jedi apprentice on Lothal. Mm-hmm. This planet, we still don't know exactly where Lothal is. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming Outer Rim. Yeah, okay. Lothal.
That too.
That's good. In the Outer Rim, and so we are just getting to him possibly going to the dark side.
So this is this takes place before Episode 4, after Episode 3?
Yeah.
The Rebels?
And I've always thought of Ezra I haven't seen the entire series, but I thought of him as sort of a hybrid Jedi, because the Order no longer exists.
Yeah.
So he has to make do with what he can.
You bring up a good point that I want to talk about. I'm talking Star Wars speculation here now, because with The Force Awakens coming out and Luke Skywalker being found, there was some audio clues in The Force Awakens. I was like, that probably means something. The whole bringing of the balance of the Force, and there's a light side and the dark side, which is no balance. It's two different sides, and the middle would be gray.
Yeah. And
Luke being gone, and kind of, Kylo Ren going to the dark side again. So maybe, and Luke used dark forces in Return of the Jedi when he choked out the Gamorrean guards, to get past them to get into Jabba's palace. And he didn't go dark. He just choked and moved them aside and kept walking. So I'm thinking that, and Snoke kept saying, "We bring about the new Jedi, the new Jedi." I'm thinking that there might be in the future movies, Gray Jedi. That's what Luke was trying to create.
I've heard speculation about that.
Yeah, of the Gray Jedi, and Rey could be the first, and
It'd be interesting to bring that, because was that canon before, or was that more of a fan theory?
It was more of a fan theory, yeah.
But it'd be interesting to bring that into canon.
Yeah, because that would be great to be able to, because Luke did it. I mean, you can't really argue that, because I was watching Jedi, I'm like, he just choked out 2 Gamorrean guards without even thinking about it, and didn't laugh, and wasn't all, about it. He just,
well, I think that was the entire point of the original. That was like half the point of the original trilogy, is was Luke going to go bad because of his dad or whatever? And so they were trying to hint towards that in the last episode, and then he won because he didn't go bad.
And the expanded universe, which isn't canon anymore, Luke does go completely dark side and then comes back again. And it was through Mara Jade, who was his wife, who was the Emperor's. The Emperor was a clone. according to the expanded universe, and the real Emperor created Mara Jade, who was another clone, to lure Luke to the dark side. Worked, went to the dark side, came back. I don't remember how he came back, and then Mara Jade died somehow as well.
One interpretation of the Star Wars universe, if you're going to include the original trilogy, I mean not the original trilogy, the prequels, is that the entire thing is a redemption story.
True. And it does repeat itself. You know, the three trilogies have been repeating themselves as far as, you know, father becomes son, son becomes father kind of a thing. I think that would be kind of cool to see it continue on, you know, with Rey being the daughter of Luke, and, you know, continuing that. Because Kyle, you don't believe that, do you? Kyle's not
I don't think so either.
My speculation, I have no speculation until I'm waiting. I'm open-minded for everything.
You're not going to speculate on who she is?
I kind of hope she is Luke Skywalker. I wouldn't
Really?
be surprised, but I want to see it something a little bit different.
I think she's total Skywalker. Just because, I mean, when you watch The Force Awakens, and again, this shouldn't be a spoiler for anybody, when you watch The Force Awakens, anytime like they talk to Rey about who she is, it's almost like the main character already know who she is, and they're just waiting for her to respond back. You know, when Han Solo asks her name, it's like he looks at her like, I know what your name is, kid. You know, I'm Rey. It's like, yeah, okay, yeah, I know. You know, when she's flying to go meet Luke for the first time, Chewbacca looks at her
I think it's more of a I don't give a care.
Chewbacca looks at her more like looking for her reactions as to, like, getting back to home, basically. You know, and when Kylo reads her mind, she's already seen where Luke is. Like, he describes an ocean with an island in the middle. You know, and then Kylo knows who she is, you know, and does not like her for a very specific reason. And Luke's lightsaber, Kylo has a sense of ownership over it for some reason, you know.
I'm not big.
So, and then the biggest clue of all, I thought, was when R2-D2 turned on, you know, for the first time, when Rey lands on the planet, you know. Why would R2-D2, who's holding the one piece of information that everybody needs, turn on all of a sudden for no reason?
Maybe because
all the other
BB-8.
characters had been there. All BB-8 had been there already as well, prior to that moment in time. So that's the thing. Like, every main character has been around R2-D2 up until Rey gets there, and then the second that Rey lands, R2-D2 turns
honestly, I don't want it to happen partially because it kills my Kylo Rey ship.
on. Why?
Because if they're related, I can't have my ship.
What ship?
Relationship, Kylo Ren, Rey.
Oh no! And that's, of course you can. Look at Luke and Leia.
No,
that's another repeating drama line, because look at Luke and Leia. They made out, and somehow Leia says she always knew. That's what always got me about that. I'm like, oh, ew. Did you guys see that video that they cut together of Han Solo's reaction to that? When it's like when the Death Star blows up, and she's like, he's my brother, and then like Han kind of looks off to the side. Yeah, they do a flashback of all the time she was making out with Luke.
I think we're running out of time.
Yeah, and then he looks at her and he's like, so yeah, look that up. It's the Han Solo reaction to Princess Leia's Truth on YouTube. And we are running out of time. God, Star Wars goes back. It's not the only time we're going to talk about Star Wars, by the way, so don't think that we just had a better chance to cover. Star Wars is going to come up all the time, but we just want to talk about it today specifically because it was May the 4th. Be with you this past week. And so, anything you guys want to close on before we head out? Any last words?
Watch Captain America Civil War.
It was really good, and don't forget to go to your local comic book shop today. They probably won't have too many free comics left, but most have great discounts.
Sales.
Yeah.
And pick up free comics, and if you can't buy some comics, they're not that expensive, $2, $3, $4, $5.
Like I was saying, they have discounts. Like I got the $36 worth of back issues for $10.
It's not a bad deal. It's not a bad deal, that. So next week, I'm not too sure if we're going to be live because we have some press issues that we need to take care of, actual, press events. But if not, we will have a pre-recorded show that we will air live for you on that Saturday. It won't be live, but it'll be for them to view on Saturday. But if not, we'll be here on Saturday. And anything else you guys want to say?
That's fine.
Well, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great week in Geek, and we'll see you next week. Go to our website, www.geekspeak.tv, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Thank you. See you later.
See ya.